Well, yeah, because Latino rappers have always, I feel, have held themselves back because of street politics.
For sure.
I remember when Lefty came on my show, he was like, yeah, I'm the most poppin' cholo rapper out of LA. And I'm like, he's like, of all time. And I'm like, nah, there's Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Right? Who's from Southgate.
I don't think any Latino rapper has made it as far as I have. I don't think so. I don't think there'll ever be another Latino rapper that has done, but I hope there will be, but right now.
You have some big Latino rappers. Hold on.
Who?
Latino
in LA?
rappers?
In LA? I'm talking about LA.
Be Real.
He's from LA?
Cypress Hill.
Where's he from?
Exactly where he's from? He's from LA.
Is he?
Yeah. I've interviewed him before. He's definitely from LA. Southgate.
Southgate?
Yeah, there we go. Southgate.
Okay. He's legendary. I know his songs.
There we go. And Cypress Hill went multi-platinum and everything else like that. But Be Real never really pushed that whole Norteño, Sereno. I think he was actually a Blood himself. Because, me and Be Real are cool. We've done interviews together. And he never really pushed that north-south, whatever. And because of that, he was able to go global, worldwide. And Cypress Hill is like a staple in hip-hop.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? But I feel like you got other dudes out there, like the Lil Robs of the world and so forth. They get to a certain point, even when they have big songs, and it kind of just stops.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? And you never get this multi-platinum, big effect like you do with like Latino rappers on the East Coast, like Big Pun. Like there is no West Coast Big Pun, except for maybe, Be Real. Be Real is kind of the closest thing. But you're talking about, Be Real had his heyday in the 90s. So like for 20-something years, Latinos in hip-hop haven't been able to get to their full potential.
Who's
I feel it's because of this whole...
pretty dope, I want to say he's Mexican, is Baby Bash. He's...
Okay, but Baby Bash did well, but he also went down to Texas in order to achieve that.
Yeah, he did some...
You see what I'm saying? He hooked up with South Park Mexican, which, I have my own issues with what he did.
But does that matter that he left an actual area to achieve some shit, or does it you got a platinum plaque, but you had to cross this imaginary line to get it, or is it like, man, if you would have stayed in the Bay, like we look at this platinum plaque a little more, you know what I'm saying? Like I still feel like it's an accolade, you got to respect it. But the difference I will say is we're talking about more gang members type Latinos. You know what I'm saying? Not.
Yeah, and Baby Bash, who I've interviewed, is not gang affiliated.
Right.
From anything I've seen. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. So, like I said, man, like I want to see people do well. I want to see people get past that glass ceiling. And I want to see people go multi-platinum. And, for example, you see guys like that Mexican OT. Like he's doing big.
Yeah.
You said you actually had issues with Mexican OT.
Yeah, it ain't really an issue. Like I talked to, I think, one of his managers the other day, and it was more like a misunderstanding, you know what I'm saying? But, excuse me, I was just having someone else's back in a situation, you know what I'm saying? Being the loyal motherfucker that I am, but it was really just bullshit. But, sometimes that's just what happens. But yeah, it wasn't really issues. It was just a misunderstanding, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, man, salute to him too, man, for he making his wave and he's succeeding, and it's a good thing to see. But let me ask you this: do you think that somebody from up north or somebody down south can get to that level of achievement by still upholding their gang shit, or still bringing that gang shit to the table? Or is it just like, it's not even an option, you're gonna fucking cap?
I think it's absolutely an option. I think that if you have someone with the right music and the right beats, the right hooks, the right push, major labels, because a lot of times these rappers don't have the major labels behind them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of these,
especially where I'm at,
Latino rappers, North and South, it's all just independent, right? And you could say it doesn't matter, but it does matter. When you have a big company like Warner Brothers or Atlantic or Universal behind you, they press that button and they get that song played on every radio station, and you get put on every playlist, and you're on Jimmy Kimmel and you're on these big platforms. It makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to build up that energy to get to that point. It could absolutely happen, but a lot of times people just kind of focus on more regional music and their regional fans. And sometimes people just end up going to prison or getting into a bunch of shit to the point where they can't actually progress. Yeah, you know what I mean? If you're locked up, there's only so much you could do.
Nah, for sure. That's happened to me twice already.
Yeah,
that shit just
that's
put
what
a
I'm
halt
talking
on my
about.
shit.
And look, man, like I grew up in the Bay around Latinos and so forth. Like I want to see everyone do well. I don't like to see when people hit a wall and can't really go beyond that.
Right.
You know, but at the end of the day, a lot of times this is based on, you know, beefs that happened before people were even born. Like, you know, I interviewed Danny Trejo, who, you know, grew up with the founders of the Mexican Mafia. And we even talked about the origin of the Norteño-Sureño beef. And it was called like the War of the Slippers. It originally started over someone taking someone else's shoes. Was the Norteño-Sureño thing going on? Okay,
no.
This was way before that.
This is way before that. Yeah.
Aha.
That didn't start really till like the 70s, I think. In the pen, that really got heavy. Because I remember when I was in the joint in the 60s, it was no big war. You know, it was funny because I remember one of the guys gave Robot, one of the guys in the mob, a pair of shoes, and the shoes belonged to a guy from San Jose, and he had stolen them. And so when Robot was confronted about the shoes, he killed this guy. And then that's kind of how it started, northern, you know, the norteños and sureños.
From the one pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And the killing that, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen that interview.
Like most
too.
people I talk to, people don't even know why they're beefing with certain people. They just know that they were told that they shouldn't like this group of people, so therefore they don't like those group of people.
Right.
But I mean, even like you look at Death Row had a whole bunch of Crips and Bloods all in the same space, but they ended up having multi-platinum success because at some point everyone said, okay, we may not historically get along, but we have a chance to be with this super producer, Dr. Dre, and all these other talents, and Snoop Dogg is an uber talent and so forth. We're going to get over this shit, and we're going to create what we're going to create, and whatever is behind the scenes should be put, you know, behind the scenes because it's messing up the big picture. And I think that in the Latino hip-hop community, that hasn't been happening as much as it should.
Yeah, and like, you know what's a trip too is like when you mentioned Death Row, like it just made me think about NWA and how there was a Mexican cat that was on NWA. Do you know who that is?
I remember. Yeah, hey, Mr. Dope Man, you think you're slick.
Yeah, I can't
You
remember
sold
his
crack
fucking
to my
name,
sister,
but like
now she's sick.
He was never really showcased and shit, but like come to find out there was a Mexican dude that used to rap and he was one of the original NWA dudes. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so I don't know, that shit, like, it trips me out because I'm like, I'm looking at, like, this whole situation, right? Like, Kendrick Lamar, he had put two, you know, Southsiders that I've seen on his album, just out the blue. The little bro Peso and fucking Lefty. And it was just like, it was out the blue. And I'm like, okay, mind you, my brother Gold Toes has had a record company in the Bay since fucking the early 90s called Black and Brown Entertainment. And right now, you know, I see like, damn, like, you know, Southern Cali, they're like, man, Black and Brown, like whoop-de-whoop. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, damn, you know, it was kind of like a power move and salute to Kendrick Lamar, bro, because I feel like there's not a lot of brothers that put Latin rappers on their music. Like, look at what he just did. He had a fucking album and he just put two motherfucking Mexicans on his album and changed their life forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
But when I sit back and look at it, I'm like, damn, bro, like, I ain't really seen too many brothers put Latin rappers on their shit. I see it reverse, where the Latin rappers get the brothers on their shit, but it just made me think, like, if people would be more open and realize Like, yo, you might not like how the Latins is rapping. You might not like the politics. It might not be your jam. But in a business aspect, it could be beneficial. Like, you know, you put some motherfuckers on your shit, you gonna open up a whole demographic to more people. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I'm just like thinking about it right now as I'm talking to you. Like, damn, like, it's a power play. You know what I'm saying? And I love all my brothers up north in the Bay. And, you know, we got great relationships. But my brothers, keep that in mind too, man. We out here, man. Put us on some shit, man. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Let's go crazy, man. Let's work.